The movie business is going to have a really good 2026. There are a lot of big titles this year, which I think will make people feel a little better, right? You just had the new Super Mario Brothers movie come out. That was a big hit. A lot of the movie people are in Las Vegas right now for CinemaCon, which is when the studios pitch the theater owners on their movies. People are excited about the new Dune movie. They're excited about the new Chris Nolan movie.
This I know. Is Timothy in the new Dune movie?
But you're right that you zoom out a little bit. They don't know what the pipeline looks like for the next couple of years for movies. And just setting aside movies, there's the big Warner Brothers Paramount merger that people are freaked out about. And there's the flight of production to Vancouver, but also to London and to Eastern Europe and to all sorts of other places.
So on that merger, Paramount, Skydance, and Warner Brothers Discovery, it gets done. Then what happens? Unfortunately, I don't think I need 2 lots sitting there in Hollywood. Are people worried about job growth or loss of jobs in LA?
They're terrified. Yeah. I mean, I'd say it's one of the 2 or 3 biggest concerns about that deal is you merge 2 companies that are very similar, right? They're basically, they own cable networks, they own studios, and they own streaming services. They're going to fire thousands of people. They've advertised at a minimum $6 billion in synergies, which most people interpret as cost cuts. You're right that they have 2 lots. They say that they want them both.
Okay.
But even if they want them both, there just won't be as many people working on them. And then there's the concerns about output, right? If you merge 2 studios, they're saying that they're going to release 30 movies a year as a combined company, but nobody believes them.
Across the nation, we say good morning to all of you on the left coast. We really appreciate your attention here in your early morning. Lucas Shaw with us to say he's managing editor, media and entertainment, doesn't describe him as a change agent for Los Angeles and for Hollywood and the export of all of our creative arts. Paul Sweeney with Lucas Shaw.
Netflix going to report earnings after the close here. Is the momentum still with Netflix as it relates to the streaming business, still as dominant as ever?
They definitely have the pole position. I would say that the momentum behind them is increasingly in question.
Okay.
Right? Like they're the biggest streaming service if we leave YouTube out of it, at least of the Hollywood players. They're twice the size of Disney, considerably larger than HBO Max and Paramount Plus. But people saw them going after Warner Brothers Discovery as concerning, that maybe they thought their growth had tapped out. And they didn't. And so now people are going to want to know what is the view for the future. And Netflix may just say, stay the course, we're doing fine. But engagement with the service has been flat for a couple of years, and that has people on edge.
And Rich Greenfield from Lightshed Partners is out with a research note this morning saying, hey, here are the 8 big questions I would have for the company. The first one was just what you mentioned. Hey, if you felt like you needed to write a $72 billion check for Warner Brothers Discovery, it must have been you saw a lot of value there that you needed to do it. Now what do you do?
Right. Is there another company that you would go after? That's the question I get asked the most. My suspicion is that they will say no.
Yep.
And there are not a lot of other they'll say Warner Brothers was a unique asset.
True.
NBC Universal also a unique asset. If they could convince Brian Roberts to sell it to them, they might go for that. That involves theme parks, so it'd be like getting Warner Brothers and a little bit of Disney.
Lucas Shaw with this, where I grew up on this was like 14 years ago. The day that I learned, I think it was a USC speech, where Steven Spielberg said he had to beg to have Lincoln be a film and not be a TV release. It grossed $275 million, one of the most acclaimed movies in the history of Hollywood. Where we are now, are we going to lose Lincoln's creatively?
If your concern is Lincoln's as a theatrical film, probably.
The emotion of it.
I think you can find a lot of that in the highest end television. I would also say that Steven Spielberg is a unique director who can command that sort of power. So we talked earlier, Christopher Nolan and The Odyssey. Christopher Nolan can do whatever the heck he wants, right? If he says, I want to spend $250 million retelling this Greek epic, he can. But there's only so many of those filmmakers who have the power to do that. If someone who doesn't have the clout of Chris Nolan says, I want to tell a story about Lincoln, maybe not.
I got an actor in my head. Who's the actor in The Odyssey? Have they named him yet?
Matt Damon's the star.
Matt Damon. It's not who was in my head. I was not. Lisa, were you thinking Matt Damon?
No.
He can do anything. He's another guy that can do pretty much anything. Like Live Nation and Ticketmaster, that's got to be a big story in the world of entertainment. I mean, I was involved in putting those 2 companies together. What do you think is the future of live event business, the ticketing business. That's one of the growth areas within the greater music business is the live performance.
Yeah, I mean, in the broader entertainment business, one of the only bright spots has been live entertainment, whether it's theme parks for Disney or concert tickets with Live Nation. It's been a very interesting trial because the federal government decided to settle, but most of the states who were part of that suit were not happy with the settlement and decided to go forward. They get the win. One of the big reasons is because it was sort of a rare jury antitrust trial, and if you were to poll 100 Americans how they feel about Ticketmaster, 99 of them would tell you that they don't like it. So I can't say I'm shocked by the result. The big question is, what are the remedies that the judge is going to ask for or propose, right? Are they going to go so far as to break up Live Nation and Ticketmaster? Most people have assumed no.
Right.
Is that going to be the forced kind of divestiture of certain assets? Then it doesn't really change the business.
Paul, how many times have you seen Springsteen?
38.
Okay, I'm scheduled. Good morning to all out at the UBS Center. I'm going to darken the door there for Bruce here in a number of days. I'm sorry. The concert industry is a bunch of fossils out there for the last time. You've been one of the leaders. I mean, Andrew Sheps, the great mixer, is doing a band called Geese that's come out of nowhere. Do you just assume that the Geeses of the world, you're covering this every day, but those indie bands, are they going to morph into what 40 and 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds want to see 30 years from now?
If they stay together, why not? Think about the equivalent of, so Bruce Springsteen, one of the big kind of breaks out in the 70s, huge start throughout the 80s. I mean, huge start till today, but like his peak was probably in the 80s. That was when he was the best-selling artist in the country. Are you telling me that 20 years from now that Swifties aren't going to want to see Taylor Swift? Yeah. I'm sure they will. That's just, they're at the same time that people want to see the Rolling Stones in their 80s, they want to see Justin Bieber at Coachella.
But Taylor, even with their affiliation with the National and Peter Katz's and all that, Lucas, you're one of the great leaders of promoting independent music of young people with tattoos in Brooklyn. Okay, you are out front. You're out front on this. Where is that industry going to be in 10 years or 20 years? Are they going to be out with Bruce at the UBS Center?
Why not? I'm just curious because you brought up Geese. Are you up on the Cameron Winter Olivia Rodrigo date from this week?
I did not know that.
They were spotted leaving dinner together.
Wow.
For our audience is drooling. They're all like out there. Lisa Mateo jumps in here right now. I mean, Olivia did that out of a living room in L.A., low budget, and she's
now one of the biggest pop stars in the world.
Where's the next Olivia right now?
Well, the next Olivia is Olivia Rodrigo's third album coming out in 2 months, but I don't know who.
Is she going to be at your soiree?
I would love to get her there, but I don't know that she's going to be there. She'll probably be busy promoting the record.
When is your soiree? Let's start with that.
September 30th, October 1st. We have not announced the speakers yet. I will say that.
Could understand.
Can you just what is the title? This is
Screen Time. Sorry,
Screen Time. Thank you.
We interview the kind of most interesting people in the business of culture. So you'll have. I can say without getting into names, you will have A-list filmmakers along with studio chiefs, along with the heads of AI companies, and along with bettors, and hopefully Olivia.